You are tuning in 10 minutes of BPTV News brought to you by Bình Phước Television Station and Newspaper. I'm Thu Anh and following are the headlines. Growing areas code to be granted for agricultural product. Improving durian quality for sustainable development. Party chef holds China Yunnan Provincial Party Secretary. CPI increases about 4.2% in first quarter. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has sent a dispatch to Plant Protection Departments and Department of Agriculture and Rural Development in provinces and centrally run cities on the granting and management of growing area codes and packaging facilities for agricultural export.
Under regulations, the agriculture and rural development sector in Bình Phước and other localities in the country with rich agricultural conditions are to be more proactive in developing planting area codes for agricultural products. Departments of Agriculture and Rural Development will be the local specialized agency responsible for establishing, inspecting and completing dossiers, granting codes and ensuring the maintenance of technical conditions for growing area codes and codes for packaging establishments. Information on areas, production, the agreement of farmers participating in planting areas, and other technical conditions must be fully checked and considered before a report is sent to the Plant Protection Department. In agricultural exports, codes must be reviewed and compared with regulations in the importing country, and a list of reports compiled for the Plant Protection Department and then sent to the importing country for approval or granting of codes.
As of the end of 2022, Bình Phước province has over 4,800 hectares of durian trees, an increase of about 28.4% compared to 2021. The main goal this year is to improve yield and quality.
Durian is among fruit trees with the highest economic efficiencies in the province. Orchards are now entering the most important stage in ensuring the harvest. Output has been more opened since exports to China began through official channels. But the country is also tightening regulations on food safety and traceability for agricultural products in general and fruit in particular. Farmers therefore need to improve techniques in planting and care and apply technological advances to further improve product quality. More markets will then open, not only in China but in other countries. To improve quality, the agricultural sector is focusing on training and updating farmers on new technological advances while transferring scientific and technical advances in disease prevention and control.
The Center for Disease Control of Bình Phước Province has been strengthening the prevention and control of avian influenza among humans, especially at border gate.
Despite difficulties in living and working conditions, staff at the medical quarantine centers at the two main border gates of Lộc Thịnh and Hoàng Diệu and the Hoa Lư International Border Gate have made significant efforts to complete the task and have effectively prevented pathogens from entering the country. After receiving a dispatch from the Ministries of Health and directions from the Provincial People's Committee, the Provincial Centers for Disease Control mobilized all resources to strengthen prevention and control over epidemics, especially at border gates. The center is strengthening the close monitoring of individuals entering the countries to detect suspected cases, especially those who slaughter and trade in live poultry and poultry products and people with a history of coming from epidemic-prone areas. Functional forces also strengthened the surveillance of acute respiratory infections, severe viral pneumonia syndrome and influenza to promptly detect cases of influenza type A, H5N1.
Now it's time for the top stories around the country. During the reception for the Secretary of the Yunnan Provincial Party Committee of China, Wang Ning, on March 28th, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng highlighted the contributions of exchanges and cooperation between Vietnamese border localities and China Yunnan Province to the development of the bilateral relations in various spheres over the past time.
At the meeting, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng spoke highly of the positive developments in the bilateral relations over the past time, including encouraging results in friendly cooperation exchanges between Vietnam's border localities and Yunnan Province. He said he hopes that Yunnan and border localities of Vietnam would be the pioneers in realizing the common perception among the two countries' senior leaders, continuing to uphold the friendship and importance of Vietnam-China relations, concretized the joint statement achieved during his recent official visit to China, contributing to promoting the traditional friendly cooperation between the two parties and countries. Wang Ning affirmed that the province will continue to work closely with Vietnamese localities to realize the common perceptions and important agreements between the two parties' troops, strengthening all-level exchanges and while conducting joint management over the common borderline.
The Consumer Price Index (CPI) in the first quarter of 2023 is estimated to rise 4.2 to 4.3% year-on-year, according to the Price Management Department under the Ministry of Finance.
The department clarified a number of major reasons behind the increase, including the rising price of housing and construction materials, 7.2%, which pushed the CPI in the period up by 1.4%. Meanwhile, a 4.5% increase in the price of food and foodstuff due to high demand during the Lunar New Year festival in early February also contributed 1% to the CPI increase. At the same time, the 11% increase of education service prices also led to a 0.6% rise in CPI in the period, the department added.
Vietnam is becoming an attractive retail market for companies all over the world, with many regional and global FDI investors recently announcing plans to increase capital and expand distribution network here.
According to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, the Vietnamese retail market is worth $142 billion and is expected to increase nearly 2.5 times to $350 billion by 2025. With stable and positive growth, the Vietnamese retail market has always been appreciated by foreign enterprises. Thailand's Central Retail Corporation, CRC, has recently announced a capital increase of $1.45 billion in Vietnam. This is the largest investment ever announced by CRC, with the goal of doubling the number of stores to 600 in 57 of 63 provinces. One of the biggest Japanese retail companies, Aeon Go Limited, is also accelerating the opening of shopping malls in the country to nearly 3 times to about 16 by 2025. Focusing on the food segment. Research from HSBC showed that, by 2030, the Vietnamese domestic consumer market will outstrip Thailand, the UK and Germany.
Introduced to Vietnam in the mid-19th century, coffee has become one of the country's main industrial crops. Vietnam is now the world's largest producer of Robusta and second largest coffee exporter. Last year, its earnings from overseas shipment of the product hit a record high of about $4 billion, up 32% annually.
At the end of the 20th century, Vietnam became the leading coffee producer in Southeast Asia and ranked second in the world after Brazil. Currently, Vietnam grows 3 varieties: Robusta, Arabica, and Liberia. Vietnam is now the world's largest producer of Robusta coffee and the second largest coffee exporter in the world after Brazil. The country's coffee growing areas amount to some 710,000 hectares in total, with most of those for harvest located in 5 Central Highlands provinces, including Đắk Lắk province. In 2022, Vietnam shipped about 1.72 million tons of coffee overseas for $4 billion. Vietnamese coffee is now present in more than 80 countries and territories worldwide. In particular, the quality of Vietnamese Robusta coffee has been recognized by leading coffee consuming powers. In addition, Vietnamese coffee has received myriad praise from a series of prestigious international brands. Vietnam's drip and special ice milk coffee, meanwhile, are the favorite for many foreign politicians and world-famous stars during their visits to the Southeast Asian country.
That's what 10 minutes of BPTV News. To watch the news again, you can download mobile app BPTV Go or visit our website and YouTube channel. Now thanks for staying with us and see you next time.